Welcome back, folks. Well, today we're going to start back on our 68 Barracuda. So we're waiting on an item for the Mustang, waiting on the radiator for the Restomod, but of course you didn't think I'm going to forget about my little Barracuda. So we have from American Auto Wire, of course you know that we're putting the new American Auto Wire wiring harness in the Cuda, and we're also putting the classic Auto Air system in it as well. So it's kind of going on simultaneously. So one of the things where we left off was we had put the little adapter plate in per classic Auto Air on our control system. This is our HVAC system, HVAC control. So we've installed their switch for the blower motor. And then now what we're about to do, now that I've got the clips, this is what stopped us, are the little clips here. These little clips are going to put our little rheostats on right here onto the HVAC system. And then this is going to plug into the box from the, I guess, coming from here, one of these plugs here, I assume. We'll follow instructions and see, but we're going to get these on, as well as our American Auto Wire relocation kit for the battery. So we got this. You know, I ordered this from American Auto Wire because that's who the harness is through. I'm wiring it just like they suggest. They want the battery grounded actually to the engine itself. And then we're probably going to go and ground the engine to the body and, you know, get to all that. And then I ordered the battery hold down. It already has a battery hold down that I used when I was racing it, but I bought another one just so I could get hold of this right here, and we may even go get a battery here today. So yeah, we're gonna get this thing going. Let's see what's in here. I don't know why I got two of them. Huh, they sent me two. Well, okay, so I've got two battery hold down kits. I only ordered one. Oh, lucky me. So let's get started. Let's get on the HVAC system first, and that way we can get everything bolted into the Dakota Digital and the instrument cluster assembly. So let's get started. All right, just to show everybody, I had to make sure on the instrument cluster, but the bottom one is going to be temperature control. Yeah, it's gonna be like this when it's in the car. So this is my temperature control now, right here. Works really nice. So this controls temperature. Now I had to get a clip off of, I got off eBay, or maybe it was Classic Industries, but I was missing my clips that hold the old factory cables in right here. So make sure if you got your original box, don't lose these, because you're gonna have to use them to put these little rheostat adapters on. All right, this is the mode control. It's going on top. Remember the little adapter plate we put in from the previous video we did? Where we had to, I think we had to drill one of these out, but this is the adapter. Now we're gonna put this clip on. Since it's new, I gotta use my channel locks, kind of clip it over. You may be able to just clip yours in with your finger, I don't know. But this thing's pretty stiff, being that they're new. If I can get it. There it is. Now put a little screw in. All right, so there it is. There's your two rheostat adapters, basically, right there. Temp and mode control. And then right here they are. Boy, it works really nice too. Yeah, wow, really nice. Let's see how to, oh yeah, nice and smooth. So there's a little bit of a catch in there. I need to check that catch out. Okay, these are the little adapters that go on the back of the Dakota Digital. These, we forgot to put these on when we put the cluster into the bezel, but they're going to be for the blinkers here. And then I think one is for high beam and one is for emergency brake, I believe. there they are. Okay. Now one goes right. Using the ratchet, but I'm going to go really easy. Break your bezel. So I'm going to get a wrench on this one here after you rate. All right. I've got this thing plugged in temporarily, obviously, because you see my big bowl of spaghetti. But lesson learned here, I'm going to tell you, it'd been a lot easier if we would have plugged these things in before we hung the box, because there are some areas you can't hardly see. So I'm going to start with the blue one. This blue wire here goes up and back behind. You see where I've got the gray one? That gray I had to use a mirror to find where that plug was at. So let me get my hand in here. So you got the gray one, goes on top of one of the servos up here, and you got a blue one that goes down here. This one over here wasn't too bad to find. The blue one that faces towards you. This one faces towards the top of the firewall. That was a pain in the butt to find. Had I known this, I would have plugged those in, all these wires in, without, it just made it easier. Okay, so those two are for your servos. Now, this is, of course, your processor, right? We're going to have to find a place to mount it. Again, all this stuff is going to be redone. We just want to get the battery going and do some testing. So now, this wire here, this is this comes from the controls. Remember, we did the head unit up here for the HVAC, right? So this is our mode, and then this is our temperature right here. And then the brown plug, they don't give you color on there's no colors on this schematic. They don't give you the color, so you got to kind of figure it out yourself. But the wire with the harness that has the brown plug is going to plug into the back of your blower motor control, your switch, blower motor switch. It's going to go right here. Now let me tell you something else. This thing is a bitch because you got this. Had I known this would be such a pain, I would have cut this off with a death wheel, and it'd been much easier to get that plug on, but it's on. So the HVAC head unit, it's all plugged in. Now, this is the other part coming from the head unit. This is the main. So you see with the blue wire and the gray wire for the two servos. Basically, I think what that is, it's between one turns on defroster, one turns on everything down here for the heater and for the AC. Now, the other piece of this is, you will see, this is going to be the main power harness to power the whole system up. So this comes in its own little bag. Blower motor, and it's like an Ethernet cable. Well, actually, these are like Ethernet cables that go into the servos, but you got this cable here, so it'll go to the blower motor, and then this is going to be main power right here, ground and power. All right, and then lastly, well, not lastly, not yet. You got another one. Like I said, had I known this little that's the thermostat up there. I'm looking at it from the bottom. Those were not too hard. Those are not too hard at all. So those go to the thermostat on the unit, on the box. And then last, finally figured out, and well, the directions showed us. It wasn't too bad, but this is going to go through the firewall, and it's going to go to the heater control valve, basically. Electronic heater control valve. Very nice. So you see where it plugs in right there? Just this right here, go through the firewall. Firewall is going to plug into that. Obviously, this is going to be outside in the engine bay. But now I've got it temporarily wired up, and I know where everything goes. I can just unplug my processor. It's very similar to the Dakota Digital processor. I mean, damn near identical. But I can go ahead and try this thing out. The guys on 4A Bodies Only said, power it up and make sure everything works before you start tidying up wires and mounting things. I think they got a good point. So I'll probably just plug this in here and just kind of test it. We'll test the blower motor. Yeah, let's get back to the other side now. Let's get to the battery and let's get some power to this thing. All right, like I said, I already had a battery box. It's the same exact one that I ordered off Amazon, but I needed the top piece, so I just went ahead. It was cheap. It was like 25 bucks or something, but I needed this handle. The other good thing, I already had a grommet for my positive lead that's going to go up to the engine in front of the car, and I already had a grommet here. It's just a little bit smaller, so I just drilled it out with my hole drill, step drill, and run the negative through. So it's actually coming pretty good. Now we got to run this across the bottom of the car to the front, and I've seen some people run it inside the car, but we're going to run it outside the car. American Auto Wire recommends you run it down on the bottom of the car up to the front, so that's what we're going to do. All right, we just went and got us a battery. Like I said before, I got lucky on the grommets. Made it really nice to pass the wires through in the trunk. So obviously I don't have it hooked up right now. This was my old battery hold down when I was drag racing. The bracket fit perfectly. I'll probably whack these off right here, shorten them up. I'm not going for show car. I'm going for functionality. I want it to be nice, yes, but trunk's going to be closed, you know. So this is what we got. So this is bolted to the body, and then again we'll cut these to fit. But right now she's nice and firm, not going anywhere. Now the wires from the battery, I have tie wrapped them again. Temporary, okay, temporary, because we're coming up to the front of the car. After we know where we want to land everything, American Auto Wire wants this to go to the starter. They want this to go to the starter, and we'll have another wire coming from the starter over to here. One of these ports, I can't remember. They want the negative cable, believe it or not, the negative cable from the battery to go directly to the engine for ground. And of course, we're gonna have to get some ground straps to strap the engine, ground the engine to the body. Of course, all of this will be gone. Hemi Denny is working on our coilover suspension as we speak. He's got the kit getting it built. But this is all gonna go in conduit, and this is gonna go on that. The Mustang will be gone, and we're gonna run this in conduit, and we're gonna route these wires professionally and nice, and so we feel all good about it. But for now, so I can power things up like the AC system, the blower motor, I'm going to temporarily put a fitting on this right here coming from the battery. Same thing, I'm going to just temporarily mount, put a fitting on the negative to the core support, and then we're going to see if we can power up that HVAC system in the box and test our blinkers and everything else. But this is all part of it. You got to be methodical, a little bit at a time. I think the right thing to do is, while we've got everything out, to be putting the AC system in it. So let's go ahead and make some fittings for this thing. All right, CUDA has its own power now. So as you can see, we came right here. This is, I believe, where they're going to want you to come from the starter. After this main wire goes to the starter, there'll be another wire this size, I believe, that comes from the starter to here. And you can see this is a 175 amp fuse right here. This goes up and powers the inside of the car right here. I believe once we get the engine in, also the alternator is going to go here, I believe. But I can't remember. It goes somewhere over in here. But now, let's get back. Now that we got power to the car, it has its own power source, lights, headlights work and everything. Let's get back to this HVAC system, and let's see if we can get this thing up and running. Also, I should have got this on camera, but man, if you have to crimp big fittings like this right here, these right here, you can use this tool is really good. You can put it in a vise, but they also want you to put flux and solder and everything else in there. I'm telling you, this thing right here, this I bought this, I bet 8 years ago on Amazon. Here's all your bits right here, fittings for different sizes. Jeez, man, this thing works like a champ. You don't use it very often, but when you do, man, it's so nice. All right. System works. So, yeah. I've got wires everywhere, but now I know where everything goes. So now I can start tidying stuff up. I'm going to give you a couple notes here. So coming from your relay, your small red wire with the fuse, it's fused. It's going to go to a switched 12 volt. This is my harness for my American Auto wire. I just temporarily plug it in here. I need to make a plug for this, but this is the switched 12 volt that turns the system on. Okay. And then your black, they want you in the directions. Classic Auto Air wants you to go directly to the negative side of the battery. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. It's just temporarily I've got it up on the core support where the battery's grounded to, but they want it that way. I'm going to route it that way. Now, here's what gets me is the big red wire, which is here, right here. It should have a full-time 12 volt source is what I assumed. There is nowhere on here where it calls that red wire out. All it has, it even says just a black wire going to the blower motor. And obviously you've got a red and a black. But this big red wire, this is what turns the system on. Excuse me. This turns the system on 12 volt. But this is your big main power feed right here. And it even came with this right here. I just found a source that's got full-time voltage. So this says right here on my American one, it says battery 12 volt. I'm not sure what all these are for. I just use this temporarily. But let's see how this thing works. Key is on. So I am going to turn the blower motor on. This thing freaking moves some air. I mean, that's stronger than my new Grand Cherokee, y'all. That freaking thing is blowing hard. So, love that, all right? Okay, so now I'll turn the blower motor on, and then let's check the modes. And you can hear it just switched from here. I believe it's going up top. Let's see, that is going, it's coming out of here. All right. That, it just changed, and now it's coming out of here. Yep, right there. So, I don't know what that's. Yeah. So, you got here, here, and then I now got it here. That's all the way over. Let's see where it's at. You can hear it changing now. Okay, now it's coming out of. Okay, it's coming out of here. So I don't know the ducting, but you can hear the servos. They move. They definitely are moving. And then this just stopped. I think. Of course, I can't tell up there, but you can hear them switch. Yeah, nice, very nice. Then, not last but not least, this is our water control valve right here. And let's see if I can turn this off to make it. All right, now let's do this is basically your heat, hot and cold. Hear that? There you go. It works. It works. So now, obviously, turn this key off. Obviously, I need to figure out where I'm going to mount this. And there's two, let's see. This has got to go outside. The black cable's got to go to the tail of the car, to the battery. this main power wire, I'll just go to a main power source somewhere. And then I believe those are the only ones that go outside of the car. But you got to really, we got to tidy this thing up. And just like with my Dakota Digital and the American Auto Wire, now I know what goes to what. Now I know how to route stuff. So that's going to be the part that we'll get to. But yeah, part 2 of the classic Auto Air. It's, guys and gals, it's going. It's actually going. I think this is probably the biggest pain in the butt part of it. But once we get the Hemi in here, you know, it's already got the compressor and everything set up. Oh, the white wire. The white wire. Speaking of that, the white wire goes to the compressor. So this is what turns the AC compressor on right here. So, and I think we ordered a trinary switch for this thing as well. So, yeah, I've got to get all this other stuff tidied up. But now you've seen the system works. You see where these wires go. Like I said, if you're going to, especially an A-body Mopar, if you're going to do this, do yourself a favor, hook all your wires up to the box first, and then go ahead and mount it. I'm telling you, you'll save yourself some grief here. But yeah, we're making progress on the Barracuda. So tomorrow we'll probably come out here and tidy up wires on this thing and start back on the Dakota Digital and the Retro Sound radio, getting it permanently mounted. Now we can go ahead and get this all tidied up, and inside this is going to be a booger bear getting in. But I want to finish some wiring up before I go. All right, folks. Now we've cinched everything up inside the car. The instrument cluster, the wires for the HVAC system on our classic Auto Air. Right now we're back on the classic Auto Air part of our installation. Now we're trying to mount the condenser. So we're going by their instructions, and it's telling us, Trish already figured it out, they're telling you how many holes down. They're using these little screws right here, come in this condenser screws. They give you brackets. So it's so small and light. I'm very happy to see that I don't have to take the support out on the radiator core support for the hood. So it literally kind of slides down in there. But we've got to find a spot by which to go ahead and mount that condenser. And then we're also going to need to mount the dryer, but we're doing a little bit at a time. So you got to understand, we're doing the Classic Air installation, we're doing the Dakota Digital installation, the Retro Radio installation, as well as the American Auto Wire installation. So all these things are going together, and what we're doing is we go as far as we can get until we have to have another domino fall. But it's working. It's actually working very well. I wouldn't suggest doing this many projects at one time, but you gotta remember, we started over with a clean slate on this car. I mean, after it got back from Joe, no wiring harness, no anything. So we're gonna get this core support in. I'm gonna share everybody, my A-body Mopar specifically, friends, on how this is going, and we're gonna go back and recap what we did inside. So let's see how we do on this core. Oh, looks like I need the wrong. Right here. See that bolt? All right, well, that was simple enough. I have not drilled these holes at the bottom yet. This is all kind of temporary in case I need to take this back out, most likely, to get the new radiator in. Well, actually, then the new radiator. But again, I'm not cinching everything up permanently. A lot of these things on this car, as you can see, we still got a long way to go, unfortunately. But it is making nice progress. So the core, the AC core condenser, the condenser is mounted nicely in here now. We've got to do our ducting for the defrosters and for the AC. We might do that, but we're also going to take a look and see where we want to mount our terminator. So let's check that out. Okay, I think that's going to call it for today, but man, did we get a bunch of stuff done. So I'll get into the inside of the car here in a second. But if you notice now, we've got our condenser mounted, and we've also got started on the plumbing for the condenser right here. This is a pain. So let me tell you, make sure you got the high pressure side, which is the skinny tube. It's always going to be the small diameter tubes, your high pressure. Low pressure is going to be large diameter. I had this in backwards, so I had to pull it back out, flip the brackets around. Now, also, leave your brackets loose. You guys know, and don't forget to put your O-rings on. Do not forget to put your O-rings on before you hook up your condenser and all your pressure fittings. So we got all that done. I've got the dryer ready to go. It's getting towards the end of the day, but the dryer is going to go about right in here. It even calls it out on the schematic. So obviously I'll get this hooked up with the O-ring, and also I don't know if I ordered the trinary switch, so I can't remember if it's the trinary switch that goes here or the pressure switch, or maybe they are the same. I do not know, but I do have the switch that screws into this. And then once the engine's in with the compressor, we've got hoses and couplings, and those are the things we'll have to take to the hose pressure shop. I'm sure the car will. Seats out of it. I thought about mounting it down in here. I had to clean out some of our whole spaghetti, but it's wrapped up. These are for our turn signal, our Dakota digital box, just temporary. Our head unit in for the HVAC, so the radio, or retro radio, there she is right there. I mean, that thing is blowing hard, really. That being said, turn the blower motor off. On. Oh yeah. Do a few more things, but I am excited.